Hi guys, it's Kristen at Decorator's Warehouse. Thank you for joining us today as we walk you through the 4 steps of our 4-step decorating process. Today we're going to be decorating a fun, whimsical North Pole party tree that's full of Santas and snowmen and all sorts of cute things. So we'll be walking through the 4 steps, which are our topper, our ribbon, then we'll go into our florals and sprays, and then we'll finish with our ornaments. But the first step is our topper, and we are going to be using a total of 4 pieces. That'll make 1 cluster. And so in this particular cluster, I have 2 sprays and 2 florals. You'll see me repeat this cluster kind of in the body of the tree, but we're going to place these at the top, and we're going to do 1 on each side. This is a 7.5 foot mid-sized tree. I'm going to be using 2 clusters. And then for a 9 foot, I'd use 3, so kind of 1 on each side. And then I would do 5 on a 12 foot. I'm gonna start with my chunkiest spray, which is this green berry here. And we're gonna just pull out these pieces, because when I add my other stem, we want them to kind of mold together. This stem is gonna go straight along the pole. And then I can use some of the branches of greenery to wrap it and hold it in place. And then I'll come in with this fun swirl piece, and that's gonna go along the pole as well. So I'm pulling these kind of out. And I'll pull some of the green forward and some of the red back, so it kind of looks married. And then we're gonna use the 2 florals to cap this base and lead into the body of our tree. So this is gonna go along the pole as well, and then we're gonna kind of angle it up and out. And then my other one, which is a cute little red frosted one, we're gonna go to the other side. So 1 there, 1 here. We're gonna angle this out in the other direction. So that'll create like a nice cap and transition into the body of the tree. So now that I have this as the topper, I'm gonna repeat the exact same thing on the back side of the tree. Okay, after we've placed our topper, we're gonna move into our second step, which is adding the ribbon. I love to use a 4-inch ribbon. It just scales nice on any size tree. But I usually will pick 2 ribbons, a pattern one for the top, and then something a little more solid, or a repeating pattern on the bottom, or even something textural. But these are just so fun. I'm just gonna get a little pop of that red and bring in the white that you'll see in my accent and with this edging. And then I always like to choose a 3rd ribbon. This is just kind of a playful pop that we placed last on the tree. So I'm gonna accent with this cute little snowman ribbon, but it'll be the very last thing that I do. So I'll set that aside, and then I am going to place the pattern on top. I'm going to create a tail. You know, ribbon can feel really intimidating, but I actually think it's the biggest way to make a big impact on your tree. So we're going to create a loop. Okay, I'll hold that up so you can see, but we're going to twist it. What that does is it brings the top back up forward. And then we're gonna make another loop. So I'm basically making just like a 2-loop bow here. And then again, I wanna twist to bring that side back. So I'm gonna place this little 2-loop bow kind of here, right under the topper to transition into the tree. And I'm just gonna wrap a branch around it to hold it into place. And then I'm gonna go into a series of 2 loops. So I always cut my ribbon. It just gives me more control of where it's going in the tree. So I'll cut after 2 bigger loops. So there's my first one. Secure it with the branches. And then we're gonna pull, you know, instead of starting my next loop right under it, we're gonna kind of pull it to the side here and create another loop. You know, I get asked a lot too, like, what's the size of the loop? But I don't want you to get so caught up in the size. I just want you to think about like what looks visually appealing. I mean, these are probably, you know, 24 inches here, but I'm a little bit smaller on the top one as we're at the narrow part of the tree. And I'm just gonna continue this process, kind of working all the way around the tree. I'm gonna start kind of midpoint of my first 2 loops. And sometimes I like to just add in a little accent in there too. So I think I'll do a short loop right here before I go into my second loop. And I'll actually just put that together. And if I get to where I kind of have a bigger chunk at the bottom, a lot of times it's not really enough space to do a continuous 2-loop run. So I'm just gonna do a small loop, almost like a bow. So pinch, and then a twist. And then we're just gonna create one loop there to kind of fill that space. Okay, once I've got all my ribbon placed, I'm gonna move into the third layer of my 4-step process, which is florals and sprays. I adore this layer because it's really what gives like the dimension and the texture and the depth to your tree. So what I'm doing, this is called floral clustering, and essentially the same 4 pieces that I used in the topper, the 2 sprays and the 2 flowers, I'm now gonna insert them as one piece like through the tree. So it's taking out like big chunks of my tree. What I've done here is I've placed the 4 together and then I wrap the stem around all of them. And so it creates like one piece. Now, since this is so long, I'm actually gonna fold this in half, and then I'm gonna run this part kind of along one of the branches here. And then I can use the greenery of the tree to secure it in place. So I'm gonna zigzag these through. So if I have one here, you know, then my next one might be on this side and all the way around the tree. Okay, my clusters are placed, and a good rule of thumb on that is kind of 1 per foot of tree on a 7.5 and a 9. I'm using 7 clusters in the body for this tree, and now I'm gonna use 7 single stem flowers that I'm gonna come and place kind of in between the clusters that are already in the tree. So I'm gonna zigzag these through, and then I'm gonna come behind that with my filler sprays. So I've got these 3 fillers, and then these are just gonna be kind of inserted, you know, wherever I have spaces in the tree. Okay, so now we're moving into the 4th step of our process, which is our final layer, the ornaments. And I'm gonna start, we're gonna be using a combination of balls, different sizes and different textures. And then I also have some fun, like bigger signs that I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna start with these big signs because it's easy to kind of, you know, figure out where my chunks are. So I'll go ahead and anchor these in now. So I kind of have a spot right here. I'm using 2 of these signs on my 7.5 foot tree. I want these to have a big impact. So I'm actually gonna put these where they're gonna get the most visual usage. So I'm gonna put them on the front side of the tree. And the next layer of the ornaments are the balls and the more specialized stuff. But as you can see, I have like quite a variance of sizes. You know, in a few different textures. These are really cute that say believe. But I'm gonna start with the bigger ornaments. Like these shatterproof ornaments are great. And they are big, so I can tuck them kind of more into the body, like deeper into the tree. And what that does is it conceals the pole and just makes my tree look really full throughout. All right, so earlier I hung on to an accent ribbon, this playful snowman. This is gonna give it a nice pop of color and just fill in any like little holes or places that we still have showing in the tree. So I'm just gonna do a couple different accents. My favorite one is just a tail and a loop. Then we're gonna twist it. And then we're gonna leave another tail and a cut. So these can just kind of come in, you know, if you have a spot, secure it in with the branch. Thanks so much for joining us today as we walked you through our easy 4-step process for decorating your Christmas tree. This was our North Pole Party Bundle, which is available at decoratorswarehouse.com. And everything that you see here today can be shipped straight to your door. You just choose the size of your tree. We have many different offerings to choose from. So whether you like rustic or elegant or whimsical, this is just one of the many styles that we offer. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to subscribe if you like the content.